Over the last couple days, we've discussed how Republicans have used the imaginary threat of in-person voter fraud as a cudgel to restrict the electorate. However, there's an even more potent way to shrink the electorate: purging voter rolls. According to the Sentencing Project, an estimated 4.6 million Americans are forbidden from voting because they have a felony conviction in their past, down from 6.1 million in 2016. It's a common expression to say that a person who's completed a jail sentence has paid their debt to society. But for some, that debt is never fully repaid because in 9 states, an ex-con can be stripped of a citizen's most basic rights forever. The United States has a bigger prison population than any other nation on Earth. About 2 million behind bars compared to most populous nation China, which only has 1.7 million, depending on who's counting. So it should come as no surprise that we disenfranchise more ex-cons than any other nation on Earth. This is a case of true American exceptionalism. Our country is far outside the norm. It's impossible to do a strict apples-to-apples comparison with Europe, for example. About half of all European nations allow inmates to vote. Only Maine and Vermont allow prisoners to vote. The United Nations Human Rights Committee sees American disenfranchisement policies as a violation of international law. One can draw a direct line from the laws that disenfranchise today's felons to their racist origins following the Civil War. With the passage of the 14th Amendment in 1868, which declared African Americans citizens of the United States, and the 15th Amendment in 1870, which guaranteed black men the right to vote, there was great anxiety about former slaves dominating the political system in the South. A study in the American Journal of Sociology draws a direct connection between the size of a state's African American population and felon disenfranchisement laws designed to take away their votes. By restricting the voting rights of a disproportionately non-white population, felon disenfranchisement laws offered one method for states to avert the menace of Negro domination. Because of these laws still on the books in 9 states, 2% of all Americans, that's 1 out of every 50, are locked out of the voting process. But 1 out of every 16 African Americans are barred from voting. It is illustrative to mention the 15th Amendment because according to economist Glenn Loury's study, Race, Incarceration, and American Values, there are more black men disenfranchised today than there were in 1870, when the 15th Amendment was ratified. It varies from state to state, but in Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee, 8% of those states' entire populations cannot vote because of felon disenfranchisement. More than 10% of African American adults are locked out of voting in Alabama, Arizona, Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Virginia. These facts would be bad enough on their own, but felon disenfranchisement has been put to use with huge consequences in American elections. In fact, it's how George W. Bush got elected. I'll take a closer look at that tomorrow. In the meantime, please like, follow, and subscribe to my free Substack. Let's make them pay. Also, I'm really sorry about the bird. He's feeling very tweety today. What a baby bird. What a baby bird. What a pretty bird.